Morning, everybody. How's everybody today? Is everybody feeling free? Everybody happy with their new administration? Everybody happy? Have we all become complacent? Yep. First day, Joe Biden just destroyed 12,000 jobs. In one day, just destroyed 12,000 jobs. Keystone XL project. It was actually supposed to come up into Canada, and it was a big thing for Canada as well, creating jobs in Canada, the United States. Now, Justin Cock Trudeau's all upset because fucking Joe Biden wasn't supposed to cancel the Keystone XL project. Well, that's what you get, Justin Cock Trudeau, for trusting a fucking full steam potato. Oh, and there's also other conspiracies going on right now that Obama is running. Joe Biden has his hand up his ass, using him as a puppet so he can illegitimately get a third term. So they'll keep this they'll keep this full steam potato going, and even if he's half dead, like Weekend at Bernie's. Nothing about this administration is real. You know, there's some interesting things that I found out in the last couple of days about the plan. And it makes a lot of sense. But whatever. At this point in the game, I'm pretty much done with QAnon. I want to believe, but but, you know, oh, and you got the troops sleeping in the garages in Washington, D.C. So all you military folk who voted Democrat this time around, just remember, they don't care for you at all neither. They use you like tools. And before you know it, they'll start stripping VA rights, just like Justin Cock Trudeau couldn't give fucking our veterans in Canada more money because he had to make sure that all these migrants and immigrants could come into our land and get $4,000 a month and buy houses and get educated and not do anything but collect welfare. But our veterans who fought and died for our country, no, they don't deserve any extra money in their disability payments or whatever it might be, their VA pensions or whatever. This is what liberals do. They give money to everybody else but the actual people in the country. So now it's the season of complacency where, you know, these Democrats, these liberals will just do whatever the fuck they want. Nobody's going to stand up and fight against them. They think they've won the war. And that's why I'm so disappointed with QAnon. If it's true, it's true, and if it's not, it's a very vicious, brutal reality that we are meant to live through this tyranny. And And 4 years is going to cause a lot of destruction. There will never be a conservative government around the world ever again. You know, Boris Johnson there. Boris Johnson in the fucking UK or England. Great Britain. Great Britain. That's not a very good English accent, is it? You'd think that I'd have a really good English accent because my grandmother, she was English from England. She was a war bride. So she was very English. Very, very English. But anyways, we will never have a conservative government ever. 4 years is a long time to live under the chains of tyranny. But unfortunately, too many people are sleeping. All the freaking libtards, they went back to sleep knowing that their low information guy got in. Now they all think that it's great because Orange Man's gone. Whatever. I really do think that Donald Trump should start a new party. There's rumblings about it, calling it the Patriot Party or whatever, but I don't know. He's getting old, you know, POTUS. As far as I'm concerned, Donald Trump is still the president of the United States of America because sleepy, creepy corpse Biden wasn't elected. You know, they're trying to make it so, but they're trying to portray this lie and they're trying to paint it all sorts of nice colors, but the lamestream legacy media groups, they still just don't even fucking say anything negative about this corpse Biden administration. These swamp things that have come out of the woodwork. Everybody that should be in jail for crimes against humanity and sexual abuse and child endangerment and all sorts of things. They're running the country. They're running the United States of America. It's only been, what has it been? 72 hours? 72 hours since corpse Biden has been unelected, I should say. Given the reins of power, with Obama's hand up his ass, fucking making him a talking head. Joe Biden's not making a decision. It's the deep state, and it's freaking Barack Obama. There's viral videos going on right now, and where Joe Biden has an earpiece and he's being told what to do, how to do it, how to say it, he's nothing. He's nothing but a puppet, a muppet. Probably a lot of my, I don't know how old my viewers are, but for the young ones, they're too young to know that's the Muppets song. The Muppets was a great show when I was a kid. I watched it was it Saturday night or Sunday night? I can't remember. Followed up by Fraggle Rock. I love Fraggle Rock. If you can go on the internet and you can watch old Fraggle Rock episodes, it starts getting really interesting after about the second, third season of Fraggle Rock. It's a very deep, actually very deep, and it's a very deep, well-written kids show, apparently. Fraggle Rock, especially the second mid-third season, it gets really dark in certain places. It's probably one of the reasons why they canceled it, actually, because and the fact that Jim Henson died. So, but anyways, and Fraggle Rock was actually produced in Canada. Not very many people know that about Fraggle Rock. It was produced in Canada by the CBC. The good old days of the CBC when they actually had good shows, and Hockey Night in Canada didn't become some freaking some libtarded freaking ideology and forcing politics down our throat and getting rid of Don Cherry. That was really what did it for me for Hockey Night in Canada now. Because Don Cherry might have said something to offend somebody, but that was Don Cherry's whole skit. His whole thing was to offend people. But in this age of ignorance and simple-mindedness, can't have people being offended. One person out of millions being offended. Everybody must toe the line. Everybody must think the same way. And if not, you get put in concentration camps and re-education camps. Oh, that hasn't happened yet? Oh, okay. Well, that's just what we have to look forward to now. But I find it hilarious that Justin Cock Trudeau is all upset with Joe Biden right now because of the Keystone XL project. That was a big project for Canada as well. It was going to save lots of money for both sides of the border, because right now, as it stands, we have to truck our oil to the Pacific Ocean, send it across to China or wherever it's going, or you ship it across Canada to the Atlantic side of the ocean, the Atlantic side of the country. But a lot of it just gets transported to the Pacific Ocean, and a lot of the environmentalists are all upset because these big tankers going out of Vancouver. There's a wildlife sanctuary in between Vancouver Island and Vancouver, and Puget Sound and stuff like that. That goes, like, they ship it across, to the Pacific Ocean from Alberta, and then they load it in tankers and send it down to the United States. And the Keystone project, the Keystone project would actually, build a pipeline. A lot of people are upset about the pipeline too, because it's going through wildlife reservations and native reservations. The stupid libtards, they don't understand those, that a lot of these reserves, native reserves, actually wanted the Keystone project because it gives their people work. Because in Canada, it's Indigenous people, they do get a lot of support from the government, regardless of how much they scream. But yeah, but the good thing about natives, regardless of what the stereotype might be, is a lot of them do work very hard, and a lot of them are very good workers. And well, native people in general, Indigenous people in general, are very noble. They are very close to God. They are the children of God for sure, especially from the old tales. It's one of the reasons why natives and white people were able to get along for quite some time before the English came in and disrupted everything. But the French and the natives, they got along quite famously with good trades and fair trades and everything else. And although there was a bit of hostilities there, especially in the Americas, but not so much in Canada. Not so much in Canada. The French, was a great, the French and the natives, they got along quite well. they did all sorts of things together, and from my own life experience, Native people are some of the greatest people I've ever met in my entire life. Some of my dearest and deepest friends are Native Americans because they are of the light, they are of God, even though it's like funny when the Europeans came to try to educate the savages about religion, especially out west, like the Haida and the Haida Gwaii, and well, Haida and a few other nations. I can't remember all of them. Because in Canada and BC there was about 4 different nations of natives. Well, there was a Haida, obviously, the coastal Indians, and then there was I can't remember what the one nation was called. But yeah, when the Europeans came here to try to educate the natives about Christianity and well, let's be honest, it was Catholics. It was mostly Catholics that came here, the Jesuits, but Jesuit priests. Catholics. It wasn't Christians so much, it was Catholics. But the natives, they just looked at the Europeans and say, well, you know, we already believe in God, the Great Spirit, you know, the Great Spirit is the one who created everything and you know, created the birds, the bees, the otters, the beavers, the whatever, you know. The Haida story of man is very similar to that of the Christian belief. Great Spirit asked Otter to swim down to the bottom of the ocean and grab a clam. And so the otter swam. I shouldn't be really, I don't want to be culturally appropriating anything, but yeah, Great Spirit asked Otter to go to the bottom of the ocean and grab a clam, and then Otter gave the clam to Raven, and then Raven grabbed the clam from Otter and dropped it on the rocks, and then from that clam came a man and a woman. And those are the people of the West Coast beliefs anyway. There's many stories. There's many, you know, native folklore is actually really interesting. It's really great. And you could tell that their people were of the light. You could tell that their people were of God, regardless of what God that might be. But it was a God of light for sure. Unlike other people south of the equator, where they worship demons and their gods and goddesses are grotesque demons. But Google has absolutely erased their folklore and put in some other nonsense, fake shit that's not even real, because these people must not atone for any of their sin, right? They mustn't know the truth about their own lineage and their own darkness that's in their heart, their own demons and gods that they worship. They're not gods, they are demons. Very south of the equator, you know, south of Egypt, across the Sahara Desert, their gods and goddesses were demons. But Google has erased it from history and put in some revisionist bullshit instead of actual truth about it. Because God forbid that we know anything about anything. There's a lot of truth in folk. there's a lot of truth in folk. Like, you can say what you will, you can say you're an atheist or whatever, but that's even its own form of religion anyways. But if you, like myself, I've spent many years, I wouldn't say researching, but I'm very interested in folk tales, right? And folk stories and stories of ancient peoples, and I'm really interested and I spent a lot of my time learning and doing not so much research, but reading books and understanding certain cultures of people and learning the stories of old, from my own ancestry to Asian ancestry to like East Asian ancestry. The folk stories, the folk tales, even in India right now, they still actually practice their oral traditions that have been passed down through the generations through many eons. So, Hinduism is a good example of keeping true to their own folk stories. I'm not a big fan of East Asian philosophy. There's just too many weird things, like Ganesh and all that. These metaphors, men and women that are half monkey and half elephant and other things. I'm just not. I'm not a big fan of that. Do they exist? I don't know. They probably do exist, like any other god or any gods of folk stories, but I think they're more benevolent. I think they're more benevolent than benevolent. I think that they're, especially that monkey god they have. He's like a trickster god, and then they have Vishnu, who's actually a god of destruction, and he has 8 arms and things. I don't know, but not a big fan. It's interesting nonetheless. If you get into it, East Asian philosophy, it's actually pretty interesting, and some of the stories are actually pretty good. And how Vishnu is like, especially Vishnu, he's interesting, but that's their main deity. But again, I think they're more trickster gods than gods of light. And Native Americans, they actually only believed in one God, which is the Great Spirit. Well, in North America, South America, they had different gods, but anyways. But again, the African gods are very, very dark and very wicked and evil. But Google has erased it and put some other bullshit there in its place. They basically scrubbed the internet of all the African gods and put some false, just basically whatever. Unfortunately, blacks are lied to every day of the week. They think they're Democrats. Do you think these Democrats, they think Joe Biden's going to help them? You think Joe Biden's going to help them? Yeah. You know what? Not just blacks, but anybody. You can't rely on the government to help you. You have to help yourself. And if you're hoping that Joe Biden's going to change your life, you're sadly mistaken. Your life is going to fall more into tyranny. And then they're talking about all this racism bullshit again. Like I said in previous videos, if you look like me and you're European descent, you're going to become a victim class. They are trying to erase us from history, like I've said. They're doing it in Canada. They had a Canadian government commercial not too long ago talking about all the Parliament and how Parliament works in Canada. And every single person in that animation was a person of color, regardless of the fact that this country was founded by Western Europeans, Eastern Europeans, Italians, Spanish, Russians, Ukrainians, Polish, English, French, Scots. A lot of Scots, a lot of Irish came to Canada. A lot of Irish and Scots. My ancestry is also Scottish and Germans also, Canada was founded by Western Europeans. All the laws that we practice in this country were passed down by our Western European ancestors. But yet, our government is trying to erase anything that would represent the actual truth of the country. It hasn't been since the 60s. To be honest, it was the 60s that actually changed the immigration laws to the point the first Trudeau decided to erase us from history. And Justin Trudeau is just continuing his father's legacy of ignorance and stupidity. And I was too young to understand who Pierre Elliott Trudeau was. He was near the end of his. I could be wrong too. I was far too young, anyways. I was born, and I think that Pierre Trudeau, when the year that I was born, it was Pierre Trudeau's last kick at the cat. His last, because it's the same as in the United States. They're only allowed to have 2 terms as prime minister. So yeah, I think Pierre Elliott Trudeau was at the end of his career, at the end of his tenure when I was born. But my dad, he hated Pierre Elliott Trudeau. He hated him because he's seen his country be dissolved before his eyes. And now, history repeats itself. And I can see my country dissolving right before my eyes. And I think it's hilarious that Justin Trudeau is all upset now with Joe Biden. But I guess, we're just Canadians, so who cares if they upset the Canadians, right? All these Americans, they think they're better than Canadians. Or just don't care about Canadians, I don't know. But let me tell you what, Americans, if it wasn't for Canada, life would be a lot more difficult in the United States. The brothers and sisters, the way I look at the United States and Canada is that we're like kissing cousins, man. Canadians went down and burned down the White House in like 1812 or whatever. Canadians went down there to burn down the White House because the Americans kept on encroaching in our land. So we went down and burnt down the White House in 1812. The War of 1812. It lasted 3 months or something. I could be wrong. All you got to do is, it might be erased. It might be scrubbed from the internet now. But if you really want to know what happened, you can go type in the War of 1812. And Canadians actually went down there and fucking burnt down the White House. It only lasted like a year. Yeah, I don't know how. I guess I could do it myself. But it only lasted a little while and whatever. Well, anyways, I thought I'd make a video today. You know, I want to kind of maintain some kind of consistency in my uploads, and my this video is really about nothing. I just really wanted to let everybody know that I hope you're enjoying your Joe Biden. He's been in power for 72 hours. Has already cost 10,000 jobs, and that's just in the United States. And the Keystone XL project is a big deal, actually. It directly affects Canada as well. So, there you go. Why do I care so much about what's happening in the States? Because it directly affects Canada. So, yeah. And I think it's hilarious that Justin Trudeau is upset with Joe Biden. What a fucking goof. Both of them. Joe Biden with Obama's hand up his ass, telling him what to say, what to do, how to say it, whatever. It's not Joe Biden. It's like Weekend at Bernie's, man. That's what it is. Joe Biden is like Weekend at Bernie's. They just keep on spraying him with, disinfectants so the flies stay away from him and shit. Because he's a corpse with Obama's hand up his ass. And if you don't believe me, just go back. He was on Colbert Report half a year ago. Obama was on Colbert Report a half a year ago or so, saying that he would love another third term and have just be the puppet master. And lo and behold, we got Joe Biden and Obama's hands right up his ass, telling him what to say, what to do, what to see. Weekend at Bernie's, man. Weekend at Bernie's. And again, nothing about this Joe Biden Harris there's nothing right about it. It's absolutely a farce. It's not real. Everything about it is fake and orchestrated by the demons of man and the big state and the deep state in China and the globalist agenda. It smells very, very bad, like a rotting corpse, which is Corpse Biden. He's been in power for less than 72 hours, and he's already changing the demographic of the planet. He's already changing great deals. He's already destroying trade. He's already destroying jobs. So there you go, lefties. Good job. Good job, lefties. Let's be honest, nobody voted for Quote. That's why they had to cheat so bigly. Because nobody, absolutely nobody, not lefties or anybody, voted for him. And they had to cheat so bad that they got caught. And I still have hope. I'm still hanging on to hope. I'm still hanging on that 17 is not just some psyop. But, we just got to prepare for what's to come, I guess. We just got to prepare for what's to come. That's it. We got to prepare for what's to come. And it's as simple as that. There's nothing going to save us. There's nothing. There's nothing we can do right now. But hold the line. Stand steadfast against the tyranny that is about to fall us. Educate the weak-minded. Educate the weak-minded. Do your own research. Share your information. And maybe we can open a few eyes. We can open a few eyes, a few minds, and open up a few hearts. Just we gotta persevere. We gotta just hold that line. For the next 4 years, it's going to be rough. It's going to get a lot darker before we see any light or any reward. But we must remain strong, and we must continue the fight. The digital warriors are doing their part, and now all we got to do is wake up. We wake up the sleeping masses, because once they're awake, they're never going to be put back to sleep again, and people are going to be furious. It's like I said, without conflict, nothing ever gets done. I know that's a very dark and unchristian thing, but I'm not a Christian. I am a Viking, and I excel in battle, and I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to fight. I don't got much to live for, so if I die in a blaze of glory, I will satisfy my inner Viking for sure. Because all I want to do is have beer, drink a horn of mead in the halls of Valhalla, where the maids of Valhalla pour the mead freely, and food and everything you could ever imagine. Beautiful women serving you food and beer. That's a pretty good place to be. Better than not having beautiful women serve you food and beer. Let me tell you what, son. Anyways, this video's ran a little bit longer than I expected, but and it's hopefully everybody's well. Look forward. Look beyond. Live in light.